how familiar products looked when they first appeared. Today, you can hardly find someone who hasn't seen an Apple or Samsung device. That's how quickly they became ingrained in our everyday lives. However, many of the brands you know and love today had different looks when they first appeared. Let's take a quick jump into the past and see how 22 famous products looked when they were first invented or introduced to the public. Did you know that in the late 1600s, you had to cleanse contraceptives in milk? Watch the video to find out more. Number 22. The first Apple computer. The first ever Apple computer was called Apple I. Steve Jobs sold his VW microbus, which was the only means of transport he had, to be able to pay for his Apple I's creation. The invention was brought into the public eye in 1976 at one of the computer clubs in California. Quickly after that, Apple I went on sale at a price of $666.66. You can still find an original Apple I computer in some museums, for example, in the Computer History Museum in California. Number 21. The first Ford car. The first ever Ford car was called Model A and looked quite fancy, as you can see. The automobile was produced in 1903. Model A was described as the most reliable machine in the world and cost about $800 to $900. Later, it was replaced by the next innovation, Model C. Number 20. The first Bosch refrigerator. The first Bosch electric refrigerator was produced in 1933. The advertisements described it as practical, elegant, and full of character. The model was truly interesting and unusual looking. It had a big, rounded shape. At that time, it wasn't that successful. Not many people could afford an electric refrigerator. Therefore, Bosch continued to surprise its customers and quickly evolved into the big company we all know today. Number 19. The first Samsung TV. The first Samsung TV was a 12-inch black and white model called P3202. The TV was quite long but looked very neat and stylish. Sales quickly started to pick up, making P3202 an undeniable market leader of its time. Number 18. The first Siemens mobile telephone. Siemens started their cell phone production with the model called Mobile Telephone C1, which was launched in 1985. It was made out of metal and had a loudspeaker for headphones. The model was eventually upgraded and improved, and in 1994, the new Siemens S1 was produced. Number 17. The first version of Microsoft Windows. The long history of Microsoft Windows goes back to 1985, when Microsoft 1.0 was released. Among other things, the system also ran graphical programs designed for Windows. The company got lots of positive responses from the public on their product. However, some critics weren't happy. Either way, Microsoft 1.0 laid the foundation for one of the most successful companies in the world. Number 16. The first IKEA catalog. Everybody has seen an IKEA catalog at least once. Who doesn't enjoy looking at good furniture and nicely decorated rooms, right? But not everyone knows that the first IKEA catalog was published in 1951. This little idea helped the company draw attention to their products and made them even more popular. Number 15. The first Canon camera. In 2014, Canon celebrated the 80th anniversary of their first ever camera, Canon. It was introduced to the market in 1934 and got its name from the Buddhist goddess of mercy. There was also a small engraving of the 1,000-armed Canon on the top of the camera. Number 14. The first Lego toy. Lego released a whole set of wooden toys back in 1935. The set contained the wooden duck, the first ever Lego toy. It had rolling wheels and a string to move the toy along. The wooden duck is still considered to be one of the most popular toys ever made by Lego. Number 13. The first Harley-Davidson motorcycle. In the beginning, Harley-Davidson was just a small company among many others. In 1903, they produced their first motorcycle called Model 1. The first motorcycles looked a lot like bicycles, but with each model, more and more features were developed. Today, the name Harley-Davidson is perceived as the synonym of freedom, and the company attained a truly iconic status. Number 12. The first Starbucks coffee shop. The first Starbucks was opened in 1971 in downtown Seattle. It's usually called the original Starbucks. Later, this cafe moved to 1912 Pike Place, where it's located to this day. So, if you feel like it, you can still come to the original store and buy your favorite coffee. Number 11. The first HP laptop. The first HP laptop, called HP 110, came out in 1984. The launch of it was quite a leap forward for the whole industry. The compact laptop had a long screen, convenient keyboard, rechargeable battery, and the biggest memory among the portable computers of that time. Number 10. The first Nivea cream. The first cream of this widely known brand was put out to the masses in 1911. It was based on water and oil and smelled like roses and lilies. The creators decided to name their product Nivea, which means Snow White in Latin. The rest of the story is history. The cream won over multiple fans, including some famous faces like Marilyn Monroe. Number 9. The first Sega console. The first console by the famous Sega company was called SG-1000. It was released in 1983 and worked with cartridges. Later, Sega launched another version of the console with the built-in keyboard. Even though this product wasn't commercially successful, it's still one of the most interesting pages in the company's history. Number 8. The first Chanel perfume. The iconic Chanel No. 5 was launched in 1921 by the outstanding Coco Chanel. Originally, there were 10 samples of the upcoming perfume. All of them were introduced to Coco Chanel, and she picked number 5. The fragrance was sold in nice bottles only in Chanel boutiques. The perfume became popular in no time, and it's still regarded as the epitome of elegance and class. Number 7. The first Sony video camera. The first Sony camera, HVC-F1, came out in 1981. Just like all the other cameras of that time, it was heavy and fairly expensive, but made high-quality videos. The camera allowed you to record videos with horizontal resolution of 300 lines and had an optical zoom. Number 6. The first Vogue cover. The first Vogue issue was published in 1892. It was in United States' weekly newspaper and cost around 10 cents. 1892's Vogue targeted an upper-class and mostly male audience. Now the concept of Vogue has changed, and it has developed into one of the most popular women's magazines, frequently called the Fashion Bible. Number 5. The first Philips shaver. Philishave 7730, a simply designed shaver, was introduced to the masses at a trade fair in the Netherlands in 1939. The product quickly picked up the nickname cigar. After the success of Philishave 7730, the company put out other improved models. The company used the name Philishave up until 2006. Now every product is rebranded as Philips. Number 4. The first Barbie doll. The first Barbie doll was made by American toy company Mattel Incorporated and came out in 1959. The doll was shown to the public at the American International Toy Fair on March 9th. The first ever Barbie wore a zebra-striped swimsuit and had a ponytail. In 1959, you could buy both brunette and blonde Barbies. The toy became hugely popular, and it maintains its success to this day. Number 3. The first Apple smartphone. The first ever iPhone came out in 2007 with promising advertisements such as "This is only the beginning" and "Apple reinvents the phone." Both of them were true. Multiple people waited outside Apple stores for days waiting for the iPhone's launch, and they were not disappointed. It's been 10 years, but Apple still creates a stir with each one of their new products. Success in its purest form. Number 2. The first Colgate toothpaste. The first toothpaste by Colgate was an antiseptic dental powder. It came in jars and was put out in 1873. As the label on the jar said, the toothpaste was recommended by leading dentists. Later, Colgate started to produce their toothpaste in tubes as we know it today. Number 1. The first condom. The first contraceptive items were made from sheepskin and used in Sweden in the 1600s. Instructions for it have even been preserved, in which it's recommended that it be cleaned using warm milk to help the user avoid catching a venereal disease. Thank God we live in the 21st century. Which one of these debuts do you like the most? Tell us in the comments below. And if you want to see more interesting and fun videos like this, then click subscribe to join us on the bright side of life. Don't forget to hit the like button below the video and share it with your friends.